The chamber was silent, but it did not feel peaceful. It felt heavy, cold, watching. The Galactic Council Hall was one of the largest structures ever built. Its walls were tall and curved, made of smooth silver metal that reflected soft purple light. Rows of seats rose in a wide circle, filled with beings from many different worlds. Some were tall and thin, with glowing eyes. Some were short and covered in scales. Some looked almost human, but not quite. Every species in the galaxy had a place here, except one. Humans. At the center of the room stood a single platform. On it was a podium, simple and gray, and behind it stood one man. He was human. He wore a black suit, not armor, not decoration, just clean, simple clothing. His face was calm. His hands rested lightly on the sides of the podium. He did not move much. He did not speak. He only listened. Above him, a large glowing screen displayed images. War, fire, destruction, human history, cities burning, soldiers fighting, explosions lighting the sky. The images changed again and again, showing violence, chaos, fear. A deep voice broke the silence. Observe. The voice belonged to a tall alien seated high above the others. His skin was pale blue, almost glowing, and his eyes were sharp and cold. This, he said slowly, is the species that seeks entry into our council. Soft murmurs spread across the chamber. Some aliens leaned forward. Some shook their heads. Some looked amused. They call themselves civilized, the blue alien continued. But their history tells a different story. The screen showed another war. Humans fighting humans. The alien's voice became sharper. They destroy their own kind. Another image appeared, a ruined city. They poison their world. Another, a battlefield. They celebrate conflict. The murmurs grew louder now. A reptilian figure hissed softly. A tall insect-like being clicked its limbs together. A golden-armored alien leaned back, smiling. Then came the word, animals. The blue alien said it clearly, without emotion. Humans, he said, are nothing more than intelligent animals. Some aliens laughed. Others nodded. The word spread across the chamber like a quiet echo. Animals, animals, animals. The human at the podium did not react, not even a small movement. He kept his eyes forward, calm, still. Another council member spoke, this one with a deep, rough voice. If they are animals, it said, then they are dangerous. Unstable, another added. Unpredictable, violent. The words kept coming, each one heavier than the last. They do not belong among us. They cannot be trusted. They should be controlled. The human finally moved, just a little. He lifted his head slightly, not in anger, not in fear, just enough to show he was listening. The blue alien looked down at him. Do you deny this? He asked. The chamber grew quiet again. All eyes turned to the human. This was his moment, his chance to speak, to defend his species. But he did not rush. He took a slow breath. Then he spoke. His voice was calm, clear. We do not deny our past. Some aliens shifted in surprise. That was not the answer they expected. We have fought, he continued. We have made mistakes. The screen behind him still showed images of war. But we have also learned. A few murmurs stopped. Every species here has a past, the human said. You survived it. So did we. The blue alien's eyes narrowed slightly. That does not make you equal, he replied. No, the human said quietly. It makes us experience. A small silence followed. The words were simple, but they carried weight. Still, the council was not convinced. The reptilian alien spoke again. You adapt too fast, it hissed. You fight too easily. That is not civilization, another added. That is instinct. The blue alien leaned forward. Tell us, he said, his voice colder now, what makes your kind worthy of trust? The human paused. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he gave his answer. We protect our own. The chamber remained quiet. The human's voice did not change. We survive. Still calm, still steady. And when we are pushed, he stopped for a second, just a second. We respond. That word hung in the air. Respond. Not attack. Not destroy. Respond. The blue alien studied him. Then, slowly, he leaned back. The council has heard enough. A soft sound echoed. A signal. The decision had already been made. This species, the blue alien declared, will not be granted full status. Murmurs rose again. They will be monitored, restricted, observed. The word came again. Animals must be controlled. This time, more aliens agreed. The human closed his eyes for a brief moment, not in defeat, more like acceptance. Then he opened them again. The council began to move on, already losing interest. The judgment was finished, but the human spoke once more, not loudly, not angrily, just enough to be heard. If you believe we are animals. The chamber slowly grew quiet again. Some turned back to look at him. Then you should be careful. The blue alien frowned slightly. Careful, he repeated. The human met his gaze. For a long time, he said, humans were hunted. Silence. Deep silence. We learned something important. The room felt colder. When you hunt something long enough. He paused again. It was not dramatic, just precise. It learns how to hunt back. No one laughed this time, not even a sound. The blue alien said nothing. The human stepped away from the podium. His steps were slow, controlled. He did not look back. As he walked toward the exit, the great doors began to open. Bright light spilled into the chamber. For a brief moment, his shadow stretched across the floor, long and sharp. Then he was gone. The doors closed. The chamber returned to normal. Voices slowly rose again. Dismissive, unconcerned. One alien spoke quietly. Empty words. Another agreed. They are still just animals. High above them, the blue alien remained silent. For the first time, he was not completely sure. Far away, beyond the council's sight, something moved, something planned, something watched, and in the darkness of space, human ships were already changing course. The stars looked calm, too calm. In the outer edge of human space, far away from the busy trade routes and main colonies, there was a small world called Area 9. It was not important. At least, that is what the Galactic Council believed. The planet was quiet, peaceful, covered in forests and soft blue oceans. A small human colony lived there. Scientists, workers, families, not soldiers. No heavy defenses, no large fleets, just a simple outpost. Easy, that is why they chose it. Far away, hidden in the dark between stars, a fleet of alien ships waited. Long, sharp, silent. Their surfaces were dark green like scales. Their engines gave off no light. They moved like shadows. Inside the largest ship stood Commander Vrax, tall, strong, covered in thick armor plates that grew from his own body. His yellow eyes watched the planet slowly turn on the screen before him. "We strike fast," he said. His voice was low, confident. No warnings, no delays. One of his officers stepped forward. The council did not approve a full attack, the officer said carefully. Vrax did not look at him. "The council is weak," he replied. "They talk too much." He finally turned. "These humans were called animals, yes?" "Yes, Commander." Vrax gave a small, cold smile. "Then we will treat them like animals." Some of the crew laughed quietly. "Simple hunt," one of them said. "Easy victory," another added. Vrax raised his hand. "Prepare the drop teams." On Area 9, the day was just beginning. The sky was light blue. Soft clouds moved slowly. Birds flew over the trees. A human child ran across an open field, laughing. Her parents watched from a distance. Near the main station, workers moved supplies. Scientists studied strange plants. Life was normal, peaceful, too peaceful. Then the sky changed. At first, it was just a shadow, a small dark shape moving across the sun. Then another, and another. People stopped. They looked up. The shapes grew larger. Someone whispered, "Ships?" Alarms began to ring. Loud, sharp, urgent. Red lights flashed across the colony. Unknown vessels detected. multiple contacts, descending fast. Panic started to spread. "Get inside," someone shouted. "Move, move." The child in the field froze. Her mother ran toward her. Above them, the sky opened. Alien ships broke through the clouds like falling blades. Inside the main station, Commander Elias Ward stood still. He was not a soldier. Not exactly. But he had seen enough to understand what was happening. "They came fast," one of the operators said. No signal. No warning. Elias nodded slowly. "Of course they didn't," he said quietly. He looked at the screen. Alien ships were landing. Troops were already dropping. Too fast to stop. Too fast to fight. "Do we send a distress call?" Someone asked. Elias did not answer right away. He watched the movement carefully, counted the ships, measured the speed. Then he spoke. "No." The room went silent. "No," the operator repeated. Elias shook his head. Too late for help. He turned to the others. "Start protocol, Ash." Everyone froze. One woman whispered, "Sir, that protocol is—" "I know what it is," Elias said calmly. No fear in his voice, only certainty. "Do it." Outside, the first alien troops landed. They moved quickly, organized, disciplined, weapons ready. Vrax watched from orbit. "Begin sweep," he ordered. Troops spread across the colony. They expected resistance, gunfire, defense systems, something. But they found nothing. Empty streets, open doors, abandoned tools. One soldier stepped into a home. It was still warm. Food on the table. Lights on, but no people. He frowned. "Commander," he said over comms. "No contact yet." Another voice came in. "Same here. Area clear. No resistance." Vrax narrowed his eyes. "Keep searching." Minutes passed. Then more. Still nothing. The entire colony. Empty. No bodies. No fighters. No survivors. Just silence. One soldier spoke again, his voice less confident now. "This feels wrong." Another replied, "Where did they go?" Vrax did not like it. Not at all. He opened a channel. Scanned for life signs. A pause. Then the answer came. Negative. Vrax stepped closer to the screen. Impossible. He zoomed in. Every sector. Every building. Every forest. Nothing. No humans. No signals. No trace. Back on the ground, one alien squad moved deeper into the forest. The trees were tall, thick. The air was quiet. Too quiet. One soldier stopped. "Did you hear that?" The others turned. Silence. "Just the wind." Another said, but there was no wind. They moved again. Slowly now. Carefully. Watching. Then a sound. Very small. A branch cracking. They turned fast. Weapons up. Nothing there. Empty shadows. One soldier whispered, "We are not alone." In orbit, Vrax felt something change. He could not explain it, but the feeling was clear. This was not a victory. This was not a hunt. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. He opened a secure channel. All units. The signal cut. Static. Then silence. Vrax stared at the screen. Report. No answer. Again. Report. Still nothing. One by one, the signals from the ground teams began to disappear. Not in battle. Not in chaos. Just gone. Far below. Hidden deep within the forests. Eyes watched. Silent. Patient. Human. They did not rush. They did not speak. They only observed. Learning. Tracking. Waiting. Back in space. Vrax's confidence was gone. Replaced by something new. Something he had not felt in a long time. Uncertainty. "What did we miss?" he whispered. No one answered, because no one knew. The first report did not sound serious. It came from a small patrol ship near the edge of the sector. Lost contact with ground units on Area 9. That was all. Short, simple, easy to ignore. At first, the Galactic Council did exactly that. Inside the Great Chamber, discussions continued as usual. Trade routes, border conflicts, Minor disputes between species. Area 9 was mentioned only once. A minor operation, one council member said. Nothing important. Another nodded. The humans had no defenses there. The outcome is obvious. A few quiet agreements followed. Case closed. But the second report changed everything. It arrived 3 hours later. Commander Vrax's fleet is not responding. This time, the chamber grew quiet. The blue-skinned leader looked up. Explain. The messenger hesitated. We have lost signal from all ground teams, and now from the fleet as well. Murmurs spread. That is not possible. There are elite units. Even humans cannot destroy a fleet that fast. The blue alien's voice cut through the noise. Send a probe. A small, fast drone ship was launched. It moved quickly through space, heading toward Area 9. No weapons, only scanners, only eyes. It arrived within hours. What it found made no sense. The fleet was still there, floating in orbit, silent, not damaged, not destroyed, just still. The drone moved closer. Scanners active. No movement. No signals. No life signs. One ship had its lights on. Another had its doors open. It was as if everything had stopped in the middle of an action. Frozen. Abandoned. The drone sent the images back to Council. The chamber fell into complete silence. No one spoke. No one moved. The blue alien stared at the screen. His expression did not change, but his eyes sharpened. Board one of the ships, he ordered. The drone entered the largest vessel. Commander Vrax's ship. The inside was dark. Emergency lights flickered. Red. Dim. Unstable. The drone moved through the main corridor. Metal floors. Clean walls. No damage. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Then it found them. Alien soldiers. Lying on the ground. Not burned. Not cut. Not broken. Just still. The drone scanned them. Alive. But unconscious. Every single one. Weapons untouched. Armor intact. No sign of struggle. One soldier's hand was still on his weapon, as if he had tried to react, but never had the chance. A quiet voice spoke in the chamber. What did this? No one answered, because there was no answer. The drone continued deeper into the ship. It reached the command room. Commander Vrax sat in his chair, eyes open, body frozen, alive, but unable to move. The drone zoomed in. There was something on his neck, a small mark, barely visible, like a needle had touched him. Then the signal cut. Back in the chamber, tension filled the air. This is not human technology. One council member said quickly, it cannot be. They are not advanced enough. Another voice replied, then explain this. Silence again. More reports started to come in, not from Area 9, from other systems. Outpost Delta, 7 lost contact. Mining Station Corin, 3 is offline. Patrol fleet missing in Sector 12. Each report was the same. No battle, no warning, no survivors. Just silence. Patterns began to form. The attacks were not random. Every target had one thing in common. They were connected to the attack on Area 9. Every ship, every base, every unit. One by one, they were disappearing. The council finally understood. This was not a failure. This was not an accident. This was a response. A survivor was found, barely alive, drifting in an escape pod, recovered by a neutral trade ship. He was brought to the council. His body was weak, his voice shaking, but his eyes were filled with fear. They were there, he whispered. Who? The blue alien asked. The survivor struggled to breathe. The humans... Murmurs spread. That is impossible, someone said. We saw no human forces. The survivor shook his head slowly. You don't see them. His voice cracked. You feel them. The chamber grew colder. Explain, the blue alien demanded. The survivor closed his eyes for a moment. Then he spoke. They watched us. We searched the colony, but they were already there, everywhere. His breathing became faster. They did not attack right away. They waited. They learned. Some council members shifted uncomfortably. This was not how prey behaved. The survivor continued. When the first soldier fell, no one saw it happen. No sound. No warning. He just dropped. The chamber was silent. Completely silent. Then another and another. Each one gone. His voice became weaker. They separated us. Cut our signals. Turned off our systems. The blue alien leaned forward. How many were there? The survivor opened his eyes. Slowly. Painfully. I don't know. A pause. Then he whispered. It felt like all of them. A chill moved through the chamber. They moved in the dark. They knew our patterns. They knew our thoughts. That is not possible, one council member said, but his voice was no longer strong. The survivor shook his head. They didn't fight like soldiers. His voice dropped to almost nothing. They hunted like something else. No one spoke. No one moved. The blue alien sat back slowly. For the first time, he looked uncertain. They called them animals, one council member whispered. Another replied, quietly, yes. A pause. Then, but not the kind we expected. Far away, in the darkness between stars, human ships moved silently. No lights, no signals, only purpose. Inside one of those ships, Commander Elias Ward stood in front of a screen. He watched the data, the patterns, the results. Everything was going as planned. A voice behind him asked, "Do we stop now?" Elias did not turn. No, his voice was calm, controlled. They started this. The screen showed new targets, more ships, more bases, more enemies. Elias spoke one more time. Now they learn. Fear does not spread fast. It grows slowly, quietly, like a shadow. At first, the Galactic Council tried to stay calm. They increased patrols. They sent more ships. They told themselves this was only a temporary problem, something they could control, something they could fix. But the reports kept coming, and each one was worse than the last. A defense station near a major trade route went silent. No attack signal, no distress call, just gone. When a rescue fleet arrived, they found the station still active, lights on, systems running, doors open, but inside, nothing. No crew, no bodies, no damage, just empty halls. And one message left on a central screen. 3 simple words. We are here. Panic started to grow. Not loud, not open, but real. The council gathered again. This time, the chamber did not feel powerful. It felt uncertain. The blue-skinned leader stood, looking over the others. This is not war, he said. It is disruption. He tried to sound controlled, but the tension in the room was clear. They want to scare us, another council member said. And it is working, someone whispered. More data appeared on the main screen. Red marks across multiple star systems. Each one a lost base, a missing fleet, a silent station. They are targeting us, a tall armored alien said. Not randomly. Carefully. Yes, the blue alien replied. They are choosing their targets. A pause, which means they're watching us. That idea made the room colder. Far away, in deep space, a large alien fleet moved together. Hundreds of ships, weapons ready, shields active. This was not a small patrol. This was a full military force, sent to stop the humans. Inside command ship, General Kara stood tall. He was older than most commanders, experienced, calm. He did not believe in fear. Humans are clever, he said to his officers, but they are still limited. He looked at the tactical display. They hide. They strike small targets. A pause. They cannot face us directly. His officers nodded. Confidence returned. Set formation, Kareth ordered. Widespread. Full scan. We will force them into the open. The fleet moved into position. Sensors active. Scanning everything. Every signal. Every movement. At first, nothing. Then, a flicker. Small. Almost invisible. One of the officers pointed. Contact detected. Very small. Kareth looked at it. A single ship. Human. Finally, he said, track it. The small human ship moved slowly, almost like it was lost. Should we engage? The officer asked. Kareth shook his head. No. A cold smile appeared. Follow it. The fleet adjusted course, slowly surrounding the human ship, cutting off escape, closing in, but something felt wrong. The human ship did not speed up, did not change direction, did not react. It just kept moving. Why is it not running? One officer asked. Kareth watched carefully. His instincts spoke to him. Something was not right. Scan deeper, he ordered. Check for hidden ships. The scanners worked, searching, looking beyond the surface. Then the result came. Multiple signals detected. The officer's voice changed. Where? Kareth asked quickly. The officer looked confused. Everywhere. Before Kareth could respond, the lights flickered, then went out. Darkness. Emergency systems tried to activate, but failed. Report. Kareth shouted. No answer. The fleet's communication network collapsed. Signals vanished. Ships lost contact with each other. Panic began to rise. Outside, the stars disappeared, not because they were gone, but because something blocked them. Shapes, dark, moving, silent, human ships, hundreds of them, maybe more, hidden in the shadows, waiting. They were here the whole time. One officer whispered. Kareth felt it now. The truth. They had not followed the humans. They had been led. It's a trap, he said. But it was too late. The first strike came. Not loud, not explosive, precise. One ship went dark. Then another. Then another. No fire. No destruction. Just systems shutting down. They are targeting our cores, an officer shouted. They know our design, another added. Kareth gripped the command console. How? No answer. Only failure. Ship after ship lost power. Drifting. Silent. The human ships moved between them. Close. Careful. Controlled. Not rushing. Not wasting energy. Hunting. Inside one alien ship, soldiers stood ready. Weapons aimed at the doors. The lights flickered. Then, a sound. Soft. Behind them. They turned. Too late. A shadow moved. Fast. Silent. One soldier dropped. No scream. No fight. Another turned to fire. But his weapon failed. The shadow moved again. Gone. The remaining soldiers backed away. Fear in their eyes. They are inside, one whispered. Across the fleet, the same thing happened. Silent entries. Precise strikes. No chaos. No wasted movement. Only results. Back on Kareth's ship, systems failed one by one. He stood still, watching it all collapse. This is not war, he said slowly. One of his officers looked at him, terrified. Then what is it? Kareth answered without hesitation. This, a pause, is a hunt. Far away, in the darkness, Elias Ward watched the battle unfold. Every move, every result, perfect, minimal losses. One of his team members said. Elias nodded. Good. Do we finish them? Another asked. Elias looked at the screen, at the powerless fleet, at the trapped enemy. He shook his head. Not yet. The team looked confused. Elias spoke calmly. They need to understand. A pause. Fear first. The galaxy was no longer calm. Trade routes slowed. Military fleets stopped moving alone. Even the strongest species began to wait and watch. Because now, everyone understood one thing. Humans were not hiding. They were choosing. The destroyed fleet of General Kareth still floated in space. Hundreds of ships. Dark, silent, powerless, but not destroyed. That was the part that made it worse. Inside those ships, the crews were alive, weak, trapped, afraid. They waited for rescue, for orders, for anything. But nothing came. The Galactic Council did not send help right away. For the first time in its long history, it hesitated. Inside the council chamber, the mood had changed completely. No one laughed anymore. No one used the word animals. The blue-skinned leader stood at the center, silent for a long time. Then he spoke. We misjudged them. The words felt heavy. Difficult, but true. Another council member replied. They are still only one species. A weak argument. Even they knew it. They are one species, the blue alien said slowly, that adapts faster than any we have seen. Images appeared on the screen. Human attacks. Precise. Clean. Controlled. They do not waste energy. They do not fight without purpose. They study then act. A tall, armored alien leaned forward. They are not stronger than us. The blue alien nodded. Correct. A pause. But they are more patient. Silence returned. A new report arrived. Another system has gone dark. The room froze. Which one? The blue alien asked. The answer came. Sector R-11, a high-security research station. Shock spread across the chamber. That station was heavily protected. Advanced technology. Elite guards. Hidden location. How? Someone whispered. No one answered, because deep down, they already knew. Far away, in the dark of space, the station floated. Or, at least, what was left of it. From the outside, it looked untouched. No damage. No explosions, no signs of battle. But inside, everything had changed. Lights flickered, doors were open, systems glitched, and the halls were empty. A single alien scientist moved slowly through the corridor. His breathing was fast, uneven. They said it was secure, he whispered to himself. He held a small device in his hand, scanning, searching, hoping to find anyone. But the scanner showed nothing. No life signs. Only him. Or so he thought. A sound came from behind him. Soft. Almost nothing. He turned quickly. Hello? His voice shook. No answer. He took a step back. Then another. The lights flickered again. For a brief moment, he saw something. A shape. A shadow. Standing at the end of the hall. Then it was gone. No, he whispered. His scanner suddenly beeped. He looked down. A signal, very close, right behind him. He turned. The screen cut to black. Back in the council chamber, the silence grew deeper. They are inside our most secure systems, one member said. They understand our defenses, another added. They predict our moves, a third whispered. The blue alien closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them again. They learned us. That was the truth. Simple, terrifying. A smaller, quieter voice spoke from the side. What if this is not revenge? The chamber turned. What do you mean? The blue alien asked. The council member hesitated, then said, What if this is a lesson? The idea spread quickly. Not chaos, not anger, control, purpose. The blue alien thought carefully. Then he said, If this is a lesson, a pause. Then what are they trying to teach us? No one answered. Because the answer was coming. Far away, aboard a human command ship, Elias Ward stood alone. The large viewing window showed nothing but stars. Calm, endless. Behind him, screens displayed reports. All successful, all precise. A young officer stepped forward. Sir, all targets completed. Elias nodded slightly. Enemy fleets neutralized. Key systems disabled. No civilian losses. The officer paused. Orders. Elias did not answer right away. He looked out into space, thinking. Then he spoke. They understand now. The officer was unsure. Sir. Elias turned, his expression calm, but firm. They called us animals. The officer nodded. Elias continued. They thought that meant we are wild. A pause. They were wrong. He stepped closer to the main screen. We are hunters. The room went quiet. Hunters do not waste effort. Elias said, They observe. They wait. They strike only when needed. The officer slowly understood. This was planned from the beginning. Elias nodded. They attacked first. A pause. We finished it. The officer hesitated again. Do we continue? Elias looked at the screen. At the galaxy. at the silent enemy. Then he said, "No." The officer was surprised. "No, sir." Elias shook his head. "Now we talk." Back in the Galactic Council chamber, a signal appeared. Unknown, direct, powerful. Every system in the room activated at once. The screen lit up. A figure appeared. Human, the same man who had stood there before. Calm, silent, watching. No one spoke. No one moved. Because now, everything had changed. The chamber did not feel powerful anymore. It felt small. For the first time in history, the Galactic Council was not in control. They were waiting, watching, listening. The human stood on the screen. The same man, the same calm face, the same quiet presence. But now, everything about him felt different. Before, he had stood alone. Now, he stood with power behind him, invisible, but real. No one spoke. No one interrupted. Even the blue-skinned leader remained silent. The human looked across the chamber. His eyes moved slowly, observing, measuring, understanding. Then he spoke. "You called us animals." His voice was calm, not loud, but every word was clear. No one responded, because there was nothing to say. The human continued. "You showed our past. War, violence, chaos." He nodded slightly. "You were not wrong." A small shift moved through the room. Some expected anger, some expected denial, but there was none. "We were all those things," he said. Then his voice changed, just a little. "But you did not understand them." The blue alien leaned forward slightly, listening, carefully. "You saw destruction," the human said. "We saw survival. You saw conflict. We saw learning. You saw animals." A pause. "We saw what we had to become to live." The silence grew heavier. The human took a slow step forward. For thousands of years, humans were not the strongest species on our world. Images appeared behind him. Forests, mountains, dark places. We were hunted. More images. Predators. Sharp teeth. Fast movement. Danger. We learned something important. The human looked directly at the council. We learned how to survive something stronger than us. No one moved. We learned how to watch. A pause. How to wait. Another pause. How to strike, only when it matters. The room felt colder. The human's voice dropped slightly. "You thought calling us animals was an insult." A faint shake of his head. "It was not." Now the weight of his words was clear. "It was your mistake." The blue alien finally spoke. His voice was slower now. "Careful." "You attacked in response." The human looked at him. "No," he said calmly. "We responded." The same word. From before. The chamber understood now. There was a difference. The blue alien continued. "You have disabled our fleets, our stations." A pause. "You have shown your strength." Another pause. "What do you want?" This was the question, the most important one. The human did not answer immediately. He looked across the chamber again, at every species, every leader, every mistake. Then he spoke. "We want understanding." Some were surprised. Some were confused. The human continued. "You judged us without knowing us. You saw our past, but not our progress. You saw our violence, but not our control." The words were simple, but they hit hard. "You attacked one of our colonies." A pause. "You expected fear." Another pause. "You found silence." A longer pause. "Then you found us." No one breathed. The human's voice became firm. "We could have destroyed your fleets." Images appeared on the screen. The trapped ships. The powerless armies. "We chose not to." Another image. The empty stations. The silent systems. "We could have taken your worlds." The room felt tense. "We did not." The human stepped closer. This was not revenge. A pause. This was a message. Now the meaning was clear. "We needed you to understand one thing." Silence. The human said it slowly, clearly. "Do not hunt us." No one argued. No one laughed. Because now they understood. The blue alien lowered his head slightly. Not fully, but enough. What happens now? He asked. The human looked at him. That depends on you. A pause. You can choose respect, or you can repeat your mistake. The choice was simple, but the cost was not. The chamber remained quiet. No votes, no arguments, only understanding. The human gave one final look. We are not your enemy. A pause. But we are not your prey. Then the screen went dark. The connection ended. For a long time, no one spoke. The council members looked at each other, not with pride, not with power, but with something new. Caution, respect, fear. The blue-skinned leader sat back slowly. They were right, he said quietly. No one asked what he meant, because everyone already knew. Far away, human fleets moved again, but this time, not an attack. They returned to their space, silent, controlled, watching, waiting, not for war, but for what came next. On a distant human world, the same representative stood alone, looking at the stars. A young officer approached him. Sir, do you think they learned? The man did not turn. Some of them, he said. The officer hesitated. And the others? A small pause. Then the man replied, They will. He looked out into the dark, endless space, full of unknowns, full of risk, but also full of opportunity. Because now, the galaxy understood something it never had before. Humans were not weak. They were not reckless. They were not just survivors. They were something more, something patient, something precise, something dangerous, only when needed.